Well, third time's the charm, and I know this is the first time seeing it for you, but for me, this is the third time for me trying to record that, and this just goes to show you that when you aren't doing it, you got a little bit of rust. But hopefully this time around, hopefully I can actually get through talking without screwing it majorly up. I don't know. Let's go ahead and let's dive into the XFL, and let's dive in and look at where things are going to be playing in 2023. And that was the big thing that they released on Sunday in their town hall in Arlington. And let's start it off right there. Arlington is going to be the home, the hub. It's going to be the headquarters for the XFL for right now. All of the practicing, all of the daily operations, everything is going to take place there in Arlington during the week. Now, when it comes to the weekends, the games are going to be playing in the home markets. So we'll see where exactly they do. Do they fly out on Saturday, Friday? What is it? I have no clue, but they will be in the home markets for game day, and then they'll be going back to the hub city in Arlington for all of their practices, all of their daily operations, and all of that type of a thing. We'll get more details on that as that comes out. But for the home locations, they released all of the cities, the markets where these teams are going to be located, and there are a lot of usual suspects, and some new ones, but a lot of this is going to be familiar to what we had in 2020. The difference is some names have changed on some things. So when you look at some things, there might be a different name, but when we actually get on the field, you'll probably see that things aren't as new as what you kind of are thinking. And that goes on down the line there with that. And we'll talk about that later when we get into my speculations on team names and team logos. So let's start with the usual suspects here. So Arlington, Texas. Yes. Back in Arlington, they called the team the Dallas Renegades. I got a feeling we're going to have the Arlington Renegades, who are going to be coached by Bob Stoops. We'll get in detail with the coaches later. Choctaw Stadium, it's Globe Life, whatever it was. That's the same place where they were playing before. They're going to be right back there. Houston, same place they're going to be playing. They're where the Cougar Stadium there, TDECU Stadium, that's a mouthful, but we all know it. It was the home of the Roughnecks, and Coach Wade Phillips is going to be there. Now, moving on to Seattle. It's a Lumen Field, but it was Central League, whatever. That's exactly where they were playing, and that's where they're going to be calling it home. Jim Haslett's the coach there. St. Louis, the Dome, they packed the place, and I got a feeling that they're going to be even more hungry fans wanting this team there. Anthony Becht is going to be the coach there. Washington, D.C., they're going to be back in Audi Field. Reggie Barlow coaching there. Now, here are the new locations. San Antonio, the Alamo Dome. Got it that time. So, Hines Ward is going to be the coach there in the Alamo Dome. Perfect place, great football, and I think it's going to be a great home for the XFL. Orlando, also excellent football center there, and of course, Camping World Stadium. Terrell Buckley is going to be the guy heading things up for the Orlando team. And then Las Vegas is the interesting one, because this one is we don't know. We don't know exactly where they're going to be playing yet. Don't know what all that means. Rod Woodson's definitely going to be the coach there. But where are they going to be playing? Don't know. There's definitely some options out there. Who knows? It could go a whole bunch of different ways, and probably not going to speculate a whole lot. But yeah, we'll see what happens when that all transpires. So if you're keeping track of things at home, we've got the new markets of San Antonio, Orlando, and Las Vegas, and those are going to replace the LA market, the New York market, and the Tampa Bay markets there. And so all of that makes sense to me. Those seem to be better fits this time around than the other markets were the first time around with it. And I don't know exactly why they chose those. San Antonio is a really good football town, so that kind of makes sense. And it does kind of make sense with them being in February, New York kind of moving out of that market there. LA never really took off, I think, like they thought it would be. It's really hard. I don't know what it is about California, but California kind of has their sports teams, and it's really kind of hard to break into California in that market, in that space. I don't know, but it just makes sense to move from there. And Tampa Bay, the stadium was just too large for that. And Camping World, it's more around that Orlando area. You're going to get a little bit more closer to the football fans there, and I think that'll be a nice, easy transition, and those holdover fans will easily transition over there. Now, looking at kind of the whole speculation and what they've done, and I think that this is fantastic. Listen, what the XFL, the way that they've put everything out, it really has given us fans kind of some reassurance, because things have been leaked. We've seen things early, and they've come to pass. So these coaches, whether it be somebody putting on their profile that they're now coaching X, Y, and Z team, or that the new XFL logo gets leaked, or that it's leaked that they're in talks in these cities, everything has come true that's been leaked, which is a very, very good thing, and it's a good track record, because what it does then is it allows us as fans to really settle in and be able to kind of trust them with what they're releasing, and letting us kind of know, okay, this is legit, or what are we getting? We kind of have a barometer of what's going on here. And I think that that's what they've done with these coaches' pictures. So yeah, you've seen them. They're the pictures of the coaches, and then they've got kind of that X logo thing that they got. But this time, instead of everything being black and white, we actually got color. And they're finally bringing color to this league. The black and white was starting to get just a little stale to me. And I wasn't really a fan. I'll just, if you watched my video about the logo, I did not like the logo. I still am not really a fan of it. I really would wish they would have stayed with the 2020 logo. I kind of know what they're doing there. They're kind of rebranding it, making their own, but also understanding, what the league was built on, and that 2020 was a success, and they want to bring people and the fans in there from that. So I get it, but we got color now, and I think that the color is it's a true nod for us fans, those of us who are in the know, those of us who have been paying attention, who are fans in 2020 season. You automatically see that when you tie these cities to these colors, you know exactly what we're getting, and I can be fairly sure that some of these teams, we know exactly who they're going to be. And the nice thing is it leaves the rest up for speculation. We can look into it. We can speculate into it. We can have fun with it. And it's really cool because it gives us a nod, and it kind of tells us to pay attention to these teams, because these are going to be new ones. And listen, the teams that you loved, these markets, trust us. We understand. We know what you fans want, and we want to give you your team back. So I really, really like this approach. So let's just kind of work our way down through this, and we'll kind of arrive when we arrive. And let's start with the usual suspects, as we did before. So Arlington, Texas, the light blue, you've got with Bob Stoops. That's kind of a high sign. Hey, we're here. We're here. We called you Dallas last time. We're changing some names up, but the Renegades are here to stay. We're not leaving you, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington area. We are here to stay. This is home. Houston. Now, the thing with Houston is that we've got that blue, that dark blue color there. But we know that they're already in some legal battles, been working some things with the whole Oilers logo and that type of a thing. I would bet to guess that you're going to get a full rebrand here, meaning the colors are going to stay the same, but you're going to get a new logo and probably a new team name. The best bet I could see is if they wanted to go with that kind of like Oiler helmet type of a thing, where they had kind of an Oiler on the side of it, or go with something of that nature. But I've kind of got a feeling that the Roughnecks might stay, but I just feel like with all of it that the color scheme will stay the same, but they'll change the name and the logo. So moving on then to Seattle. Seattle, we got the green from the Dragons. The Dragons are coming back, and Seattle really embraced this team, and they were a fun team to watch, even though they had a losing record. And I think that fits right in. They're going to be right back at home there. DC was fun. Remember, home of the beer snake, and this was one of those where This was kind of one of those markets where you just really didn't know how well it was going to do. And, people came out to watch those games, and the fans were just ecstatic about this team, cheering this team on. Like I said, it was crazy. It was wild. You had the beer snake on TV. I mean, it was famous, and I want to see the beer snake again. I don't know. Maybe there are other places that started the beer snake that tried to do it. I don't know. I haven't seen the beer snake since the XFL, and I want it back. And by golly, we're probably going to get that back with the Defenders. The Defenders was a fantastic logo, fantastic color scheme. It was DC. It was everything that you would want. I loved it. Thought it was great, and I'm glad to see it coming back. And St. Louis here, to finish out the usual suspects here, what can you say? The city fully embraced this team like none other. I have not seen a city truly embrace a team, these alternative teams, whether it be the USFL or the XFL, like St. Louis did. They came out in droves for this team. This team was electrifying, was a good team to watch. They were a good team, and they had great fans, and I'm glad that they have, Anthony Becht is a very dynamic guy. To have a dynamic guy like that heading this team, going into this stadium that's going to be packed, it's going to be ruckus, it's going to be fun, and have those Battlehawks back is going to be fantastic. And that's the thing that they're telling us. Listen, we're giving you your team back. St. Louis, don't worry. We understand. We know who you are. We know what your fans want, and we're going to give it to you. And I love that. Now let's go ahead and move to some speculations. So these are the ones that are kind of speculatory, but this was what we kind of have been hearing throughout the whole time, that Tampa Bay was going to move to Orlando. And if you look at the color, you got the light green that matches right up with the Vipers. And it's an easy transition to move right over to Orlando from Tampa Bay. And you can kind of continue that whole Florida theme on, and you can move it there to Orlando, which is going to be a better football location for you. I think that they're going to rally around it, telling us, hey, the Vipers are coming back. And the Vipers actually ended up being better than what I thought that they would be color-wise looking on the field. Once they got on the field, it looked sharp. I thought it looked terrible off, when we got all of those images and stuff, but I thought it came out fairly well when it was with that. Now, the last couple are really the ones that are kind of toss-ups and kind of in the air, and you just, you really don't kind of know what to think. So we've got the, losing my places here. So we've got San Antonio. San Antonio is in the color of yellow, which it was not any one of the leftover teams with that, to where I got a feeling that they're going to be rebranding this. And this is a very good thing, because I think giving San Antonio their own identity, and not a rehashed identity, not one that's been brought over from another market, I think is a smart thing. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a good way to do it. And so I think the yellow just screams, hey, we're doing something new. I would imagine it'll probably be like a yellow and black type of a thing, but you never know where they go with that. Now, the Las Vegas, and that's a red. And this red, if you kind of really compare it to what the Wild, the LA Wildcats kind of was, it doesn't really fit. Kind of, but not really, to where this is one that I would venture to say that this is going to be a complete rebrand as well. I don't really think that the Wildcats kind of went off as what all people thought that it would be, and it really kind of fell flat there in LA. And I would imagine that probably with Vegas, especially it being Vegas, I think that them giving Vegas something to claim as Vegas, I look for that to happen. So with this, I look for this to be kind of a total rebrand, or maybe keep the colors and a rebrand of it. Like I've said before, the Wildcats was generic. I'd like to see it changed up here. You could easily move the Wildcats into Las Vegas, but if you ask me, it's better just to kind of go do something new with it. If I would have made any changes and kept kept any of them. I probably would have kept the Guardians, and that would have been the team that I would have put in Vegas. And maybe you can still do them with that. With the red that they had, because the red, if you remember, the red was really accented with the Guardians. So maybe do a revamp of the Guardians and have the Guardians in there for Las Vegas. That would make sense to me. And then just get rid of the Wildcats altogether. That would make sense. Just because that one was really kind of the one that really never caught on. But those are my thoughts. All in all, I think that this is a good thing. The XFL is showing good faith to the fans, and I am cautiously optimistic, as I've kind of put in the comment section. And but they are proving themselves to me. We still got a long ways to go, so we'll see what happens. But I am getting excited for this brand of football. As always, I want to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff with the XFL, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, guys, listen, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.